today's video, alright, well, I'm going to start out like this. I had a different video planned for today that I have been working on and I was going to upload. Well, some events happened here near where I live that have gone nationwide, and they've captivated everyone, because right now it's a lot of updating and a lot of stuff being released or information coming out about what happened in these cases. I decided to push that video back a day or two, and I'm gonna make this video today to talk about the case of Aniah Blanchard, who went missing before Halloween. It's been a massive month-long search. A lot of things have developed in that case in just the last couple of days. So I'm going to talk about those today. I'm going to update you on Aniah Blanchard that happened here. Alright, so if you can't tell, I am at home today, and like I said before the intro, I am going to update you on the Aniah Blanchard case. I'm not sure if you've heard about this case or not. I know it made national news and it's been all over the place. Aniah's stepfather is a UFC fighter. I'm not sure if you watch UFC or not, but his name is Walt Harris. He fights in the UFC. There's tons of videos out there that you can find of him fighting and that type of stuff. The whole situation is just heartbreaking. For those of you who are not familiar with the case, who maybe you don't have cable or not watching the news or whatever reason, and you're not familiar with the case, I'll kind of go over it a little bit. About 30 to 45 minutes from Montgomery, going towards Atlanta, there is Auburn University, or Auburn, Alabama, which is home to Auburn University, which is a huge college. Well, Aniah Blanchard was a student at Auburn University. On October the 25th, which is my daughter's birthday, she was reported missing by friends and family. So police went in and started investigating what happened to her. They found she used her credit card at a gas station. So they went to that gas station and they pulled up footage. Well, they found her on the footage. They also found the man in question. It didn't take long. They were able to identify him as Ibrahim Yazid. He's a Montgomery resident, and for whatever reason he was in Auburn that night. The kicker of the story is Ibrahim Yazid was out of jail on bond for kidnapping. So he had kidnapped someone before, went to jail. He posted however the bond was. I can imagine it was probably a high dollar for kidnapping. Got out and then immediately kidnapped Aniah Blanchard. So they put out a nationwide bulletin. Then a couple of days later, I guess, I don't know if they got a tip or what, but the U.S. Marshals Task Force, they kicked in a door down in Pensacola, Florida, and he put up a fight and tried to run from them. Ultimately, they got him. He was arrested down in Pensacola, and you should see, I'll show you a picture right after he was caught and booked in. His eye was all busted up where he was trying to fight them, and they won. His face was all busted up. So he went to court and was extradited back here.
Ibrahim is coming in, Your Honor.
Right. Okay.
And it's my understanding that Mr. Ibrahim has indicated that he desires to waive extradition and go back to Auburn to face charges.
Alabama has determined that they'd like to extradite you. And Mr. Edens, can you please advise the defendant of the crime?
It's homicide, Mr. Ibrahim.
I'm in custody now.
There are people from Alabama here so that you can be taken today back to Alabama. They're here to take you so you can get back there.
After they arrested him, like I said, he was not cooperating at all. He wasn't talking. He wasn't saying anything. They knew that they had their man. They had no clue where Aniah was. Right at about the same time as they kicked in the door and captured him, not far from here, a resident in an apartment complex called the police about a suspicious vehicle. The next day, her car was found at these apartments right here behind me with blood all on the inside of it. So this is the apartments here where they found her vehicle. Her vehicle was found sitting right here. On the passenger side of the vehicle, they found that it was just covered in blood. And it was enough blood that they were able to determine that she had suffered a life-threatening injury without even seeing her body. Abraham Yazid also was known to frequent here. He stayed here quite a bit in this apartment complex. So they had their man. They had her car, and there was so much blood on the inside. They knew something bad had happened, and they, I'm sure, probably suspected that she was already deceased somewhere, but they didn't know where. After they found her car, and they knew that something bad had happened, some time passed. I mean, they were still investigating, but they didn't have a lot of information. They were getting tips. Weeks passed. I mean, several weeks passed, and really there was no new information coming out. You know, everybody here in this area, we don't know who she was. We don't know their family. But because it happened here, we were all invested. We wanted to bring Aniah home safely.
It hurts. I just pray that she's okay and that we get her home soon. She's amazing.
So tons and tons of people volunteered. They started searching wooded areas and anywhere and everywhere they could. They started at the apartments where her car was found and started moving the up wooded areas off every exit, everywhere they could, and they were heading towards Auburn. One of the people who was here searching for Aniah was the mother of another woman who went missing down in Aruba back in 2005, Natalie Holloway. And I know that was national news, and a lot of you should know that name, Natalie Holloway. Well, her mom was even here helping search for Aniah. Over the last couple of days, it's been a whirlwind. They announced they had arrested a second person involved with the case, a man by the name of Antoine Fisher. He went by the name Squirmy. And the only thing that I can assume, he either made a deal with the district attorney or he just openly talked, because in my opinion, now this may not be the way it actually went down, but I feel like Squirmy or Antoine Fisher then started talking, because not long after his arrest, they recovered her remains. Because it's still an ongoing investigation, they're not releasing everything, but all they said was they received information that they needed to look in a certain area, which is right off the interstate, exactly halfway between Montgomery and Auburn. They needed to look right off the interstate and into a wooded area, and they went there, and bam, they found remains that they believe to be hers. Still doing DNA testing, but they say they're about 99% positive it's her. That news was just devastating to everyone. It's because we all wanted Aniah to come home safely. Everyone wanted her to be found and be alive, and everyone, that's what everyone wanted. And it was devastating, and it was a huge weight on everyone's shoulders as soon as the news broke that they had found what they believed was Aniah Blanchard's remains. Immediately following them finding her remains, a third arrest was made in the case. Now, Antoine Squirmy Fisher was a Montgomery resident, but the third person they arrested, his name was David Johnson Jr. He is also a Montgomery resident, and he was charged with hindering prosecution in the case. Now, what happened is earlier this month, on November the 7th, investigators, knowing that David Johnson's son was a friend of Ibrahim Yazid's, they went to interview him, and David Johnson told the police then that he had saw Ibrahim Yazid earlier that day, but he had left his home on his own accord with an unknown white female in an unknown vehicle. Well, all of a sudden, after they had found her remains, investigators knew that his story was a lie. Again, they haven't released how they knew it was a lie, but they knew it was a lie. Turns out that David Johnson's son, David Johnson III, drove Ibrahim Yazid down to Pensacola from Montgomery. And David Johnson Jr. knew that. He knew that his son had driven Ibrahim down to Pensacola, and obviously he was trying to look out for his son, and he lied to the police. David Johnson was arrested just for hindering prosecution. It had nothing to do with the kidnapping or the suspected murder of Aniah Blanchard. Now, this whole ordeal, I can't even imagine the toll it's taken on the Blanchard family, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. And I absolutely hate that they're having to go through it. And, my prayers and my best wishes are going to be with them as well, because no parent should ever have to go through that. No one should ever have to do this. There's sick people out there in the world who, they don't care if they take another human life, someone's daughter or son or mother or brother or whatever. If you kill someone, that person has loved ones. That's, it's ridiculous. It's hard to even fathom how these people can do this stuff. That is it for this one. I wanted to update everyone on Aniah Blanchard and kind of give you the information on. But as soon as more information comes, I will let you know. The video that I had recorded and was working on that was going to be uploaded yesterday, that I decided to hold off on to post this video first, because I had learned that her remains were recovered. I will get it up in the next day or two. It's a pretty good video. And then I'm going to do another update video after that to let you know what's going on in my personal life, going off of video a couple videos back where I updated all of you. And then we got Thanksgiving, which will come on Thursday, which is going to be before some of those other videos, so that's great. A lot of things going on right now, and with all this sadness around it, it's just it's weighing on everyone's heart right now. I want to thank you all for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you again tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day. And please stay safe.
From above.